Listen, I think every NBA fan and analysis, we can pretty much see that one out of these two teams will be in the conference finals here in the Eastern Conference for 2020. We do have the Toronto Raptors as well as the Boston Celtics. I've had a lot of debates I've seen on social media as well as on YouTube, videos and comments concerning about the Toronto Raptors or the Boston Celtics. Now, in the very beginning of the season, we were all expecting the Toronto Raptors or as well as the Philadelphia 76ers to go against the Milwaukee Bucks. I was never fond of the 76ers. A lot of people said before the season that they can make the finals, let alone will make the conference finals. Elton Brand didn't make the best moves. That's another subject for another day. But now we can see in the very beginning of the season, the Boston Celtics weren't exactly as gelling as quickly as possible. They did in the very beginning. We can see the absence of Kyrie Irving led more opportunities, but the Raptors did take the league by storm in the Eastern Conference way quicker than the Boston Celtics. Now, the Celtics have always been an X factor, a dark horse team for me, but they've really proved it to me for the past couple of games. Towards the mid to the end of the season, especially with the emergence of Jason Tatum. Tatum's always been an amazing basketball player. Even through his rookie season, we saw the highlights of him. His second season was somewhere in the mix, but I really take into consideration his first season to where he was be able to lead that team to the conference finals, Game 7 against LeBron James. So kudos and credit to him. Now we've seen the emergence of Jason Tatum to where he made his first All-Star appearance. And now we can actually see without Kyrie Irving back to where we saw the first season where they were in the playoffs with Brad Stevens running the course for their young team. So very exciting to see with those young guys. But we got to look in the Toronto Raptors. They are the defending NBA champions. They do have the same foundation of success without Kawhi Leonard. Now, that team without Kawhi Leonard, they can make the second round, let alone the conference finals, and be very respected. And they still have the same foundation of championship DNA. Now, with Kawhi Leonard moving out west, that does leave the door open for the Eastern Conference. First of all will be the Milwaukee Bucks. Second, I still do have the Toronto Raptors to be second favorites. And then third, I would have to put the Boston Celtics. And then fourth would be the Miami Heat. And then the rest is just kind of history from in there. Now, if the NBA were to end as of right now, the Boston Celtics are the third seed and the Raptors are the second. When it comes to the second and third seeds, around 2 to 3 games. So I pretty much expect for these last 8 games in Orlando that it would be the Bucks still at the number 1 seed. I still expect the Raptors to finish off with the second and the Celtics with the third. So first round, I expect the Raptors to beat either Orlando Magic or Brooklyn Nets pretty easily in a most 5-game series against the Magic and a sweep against the Nets. With the Boston Celtics, they're probably going to play against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round, maybe even the Indiana Pacers. If they play against the Pacers, they would win that series in 5. And as well as they're playing against the Sixers, I think that would probably go around 6 or 7 games, but I would still give the advantage to the Boston Celtics. Which leads to this question we're asking. If these two were to meet in the semis, which one of these teams will make it to the conference finals in the NBA? Now, for me, my position is the Toronto Raptors, but this is before Corona hit. So now we can see with the board of directors as well as with Adam Silver, we have to realize, guys, they're going to be playing in Orlando. These are going to be kind of like pickup games. There won't be quote-unquote home court. They are still working out. There's not going to be any fans, but they're working out sound systems, advantages to the home team, which is a weird feel without the fans and the energy and the excitement. Due to that happening, I can actually see it go either way. I always had the Raptors going to beat them in the playoffs, probably around in 6 to 7 games because of home court. But now, because of quarantine, that's not really taken into account. So we can probably see more of a difference when it comes to this. I've always had the Celtics as a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. Some people may say, no, they're probably finals favorites with the Bucks. I disagree with that notion. I think their peak would be a conference finals appearance. I don't think that any way they would beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs when it comes to this timeline. But we're going to focus against them and the Raptors. Now, let's just say it's still a 7-game series. They're going back at it for each of these guys. So we're going to have a starting lineup. You're going to have Kemba Walker with Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Daniel Theis. Against the Raptors starting five, which is probably going to presume with Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and then as well as you're going to have Pascal Siakam and either Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka. I expect Marc Gasol to start within that. Now, as we can see, I believe the Raptors do have an advantage when it comes to the series with their championship DNA, their expectations, as well as their length and size on defense. They're going to go at Jason Tatum. Now, Tatum is a great scorer. He can pick you off the dribble, go ISO, hit you with the mid-range jumpers, as well as drive in. He's perfecting his craft when it comes to that. He's become more efficient throughout the years, which is great and very assuring to see, inspiring to see that as well. But if you're throwing Pascal Siakam at him, someone who's around 6'9", 6'10", or OG Anunoby, that's something to where I could see Jason Tatum have a game or two to where he has like 30, even 35, but then a game to where he has like 21 or 18 points. That's something that's here or there. You know, he's the main. I think he's pretty much the X factor when it comes to this series. We already know Kemba Walker is going to do his thing because you're going to have Kyle Lowry on him or Fred VanVleet. And Kemba usually knows how to do his thing. He doesn't have experience when it comes to the playoffs this deep. That's a question mark, but I trust him on this team in his role with Brad Stevens. And we've seen with Jaylen Brown as well as Marcus Smart, they have the experience. So that's another edge to the Boston Celtics. So the Raptors have the defense, more on the offensive side. I would actually have to roll with the Raptors. The Boston Celtics are going to be here or there. There's going to be a couple games to where I can see the Celtics blow them out or win a chippy. But whenever it comes to both of these teams, I see the Toronto Raptors with their championship DNA, their defense. They don't really need a Kawhi Leonard per se to beat the Celtics. If they did have Kawhi Leonard, of course they would take him out in 5 or 6 games. But I think this is going to go pretty much a 7-game series. And now we're playing in Orlando, so that's here or there. So there's not a direct answer. If we were to keep it, if it were the normal NBA, I would have the Toronto Raptors winning in 7 games. But, you know, this is a very good opportunity to see flashbacks from 2018 when you had no Kyrie Irving and you saw Jason Tatum take over within that team. But that Cleveland Cavaliers team is way different from these Toronto Raptors. And even they gave the Warriors trouble with their defense. And that is something that's very underrated. People aren't talking about. Now, the offense for the Raptors is still going to be there, but it won't be as electric and reassuring in the clutch. But I don't see to where the Celtics can handle them being this young. I think this is going 7 games. I'm picking the Toronto Raptors as a safe bet.